everyone, and welcome to the Couch Buddies. I am Blade.
And I am DJ.
And welcome to yet another Couchisode. And we had a very nice week this week, right, DJ?
Yes, we had. Welcome, everybody. Another Couchisode, another week, or as we say, another week, another dollar. Except that we won't get any dollars because we are not monetized.
It would be nice, yeah. No, but we had a nice Couchisode last week. We had nice games. And what are we going to do this week, DJ? Tell me.
Well, this week we are going to do something awfully new, something we never tried before, which is talking about games. And now,
wow,
again.
Wow.
I'm into the dad jokes today, huh?
Yeah. And we'll have the whole Couchisode like from start to end.
No, because people don't watch this that much. If we start doing that, then it's going to be even worse.
Yeah, they'd run
Anyways. Games aside, what are we going to talk today? So today, to start off, let's say with a wonderful game, I'm going to start with one that probably nobody heard of. I mean, people might have heard about this game, but different versions of it. So the game I'm going to talk about is Hook from 1993 for MS-DOS. So this is based on obviously the movies of the famous movies of Peter Pan, and this was a game that was slightly different. The DOS version was different from anything else we've seen out there. The games that came out for the consoles on this one were mainly platform shooters. They were 2D horizontal platform shooters. Yeah. However, the PC version got a point-and-click adventure, and being point-and-click adventure one of my favorite genres, I had to bring it up and talk about it. But if you don't know it, stick around because this is going to be a good one. So it will
get you hooked.
It will get you hooked. My God, man, we're on fire today. So this is based on some of the events of the movie, like, for example, the locations of the pirate town, the encounters with the Lost Boys, and obviously the final confrontation with the Captain Hook. The game starts immediately with the player assuming the character of Peter Banning, or Peter Pan, which was his actual name when he was a kid. And when he arrives home, he gets a note saying that his presence is requested. That his presence is requested by his children, and the note signed by Captain Hook himself. Then along Peter Pan along with Tinkerbell that will follow you around. We'll have to solve some puzzles in order to unlock the progression through some of the events going forward. So until we reach the final confrontation with Hook. It was a simple, point-and-click style of game. You had a simple inventory. You had commands like talk, pick up, use, the usual things that you would see, on an adventure game. Once again, I'm going to sound a bit like a broken record, but I love the soundtrack of this game. It was really, really good. Although, it would be at times annoying because when you entered in a room and you had to leave that room and pass into another scene of the game, the music would stop, and then if you enter the room again, it would start again, which is something that later on we've seen that the music usually picks up from where it was left off. But on this one, it was very archaic. I mean, we're talking about 1993, so we can't expect that much. Yeah. But in some of the situations, I was actually staying in some of the areas of the map just to listen to the soundtrack of this game, which was, absurdly amazing. I really love it, and it was really good. Overall, the PC version is still good, but it's quite unknown. It brings you. I brought it here because I thought that you should give it a try. Although this is not available on any digital platforms or anything like that. It's quite short though. You can finish this in around 3 hours. And although the puzzles are not very difficult, they are very, very funny. There's very, very funny puzzle solving in this game, and especially one that involves a rope and an anchor. I'm not gonna say that much because I don't want to really spoil the surprise. But again, guys, give it a go because this game is really nice. And I don't know anyone that actually played this game. So if you did play this game, just leave us a comment down below if you remember it. If you didn't, just give it a go. It's a good one. You'll like it.
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't even know the game existed for the PC as a point and click. I had no idea.
It's one of the main. It's the only difference actually. If you look at the version from Super Nintendo, for the SNES, the Genesis or the Mega Drive or whatever you want to call it,
they were all platformers.
Yeah, they were
think.
platformers and shooters. But the thing is, actually, I played both of them on emulation, obviously. And I do prefer the SNES version. I think that the details of the water, for example, there's a level with some water, are really, really better than the Mega Drive ones. But again, I mean, it's just a question of personal preference anyways.
Yeah.
So, what about
turn.
you, Blade? Yes,
My
your
turn.
turn. What you have for us today?
Okay, I'm going to start the same way I started last week with an NES game. I played a lot of NES games, and I'm going to talk about one, and I'm pretty sure you played this one. I can almost bet you played this one. I'm going to talk about an 85 game for the NES called Battle City.
I did. I did.
Told you. No, there isn't much to talk about this game, honestly, but it was a lot of fun. I spent countless hours on this one, alone and with friends. The game is very simple. Basically, you control a tank, and you have your base spot on the bottom that has a small wall around a phoenix. Yeah. And you just have to stop the invading tanks from destroying that wall and destroying the phoenix, and you have to kill them. This is basically the game. And it's a lot of fun to just go in those labyrinth-like maps. You could destroy some of the walls, you could make your phoenix immune for a while, and you could play this 2 players, and it was a lot, and I mean a lot of fun to go at this one with 2 players.
I remember that game had a buttload of levels, like lots of levels. I remember playing this. I'll be honest with you, I never had an NES or any original Nintendo console for that matter, but I did have a clone. Portuguese will probably know it, and in Europe called the Family game. It's basically an 8-bit clone from the NES, and that game was there. And I think it had even the same name and everything. I mean, all of those were, illegal copies at that time. So nobody would care anyways. But I did play that one. And I remember that, I was trying to play it till the exhaustion to see if I could reach the end of it. And I don't remember actually finishing the game. I don't know how many levels were there. But that was, it was fun. It was really, really fun.
I honestly can't remember even getting to the end of the game also. So I'm not sure.
I don't. Maybe it's one of those endless games that the levels just get. Yeah,
no,
I mean
because you had them pretty much pre-designed, so.
And
I don't know.
And the NES didn't have any randomization. I don't think it had any randomization capabilities. Although I think with Legend of Zelda, I think there was some things were randomized. I think the monsters were randomized. Again, not a big knowledge. Maybe the map's not. I mean, not a big knowledge. I'm not a big. Don't have a lot of knowledge on the NES. I mean, in terms of what it could do, the architecture. Yes, I know it was inside. But yeah, good suggestion. I really played that one. And if people played it, just let us know in the comments.
Let us know in the comments. Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah,
this was a very fun game. Yeah. And so, what do you have for us next?
Today, I'm actually going to bring my first sports game into the Couchisodes. I didn't play a lot of sports game. Yes, I did some of them, but not that much. But one of those that I really spent a lot of time playing, and it was on the Amiga. Not my Amiga, because I didn't have one. It was my cousin. But I did spend a lot of time playing on his Amiga, which was Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker from 1991. This was, I mean, it was a very good game in all, a very good and unique game in all senses. The game was actually ported to several systems. I mean, it was available on the Amiga, Atari ST, Mega Drive or Genesis, whatever you want to call it, and it was truly revolutionary. It is not, it is in fact not the first game the first snooker game that we've seen or it was released. In fact, there have been, snooker titles for the Commodore 64 and the ZX Spectrum since like the early 80s, so it's not really anything new. I'm sorry about that, guys. However, this was the first one to get both the graphics and the physics right. And the reason I say this is because of the obvious problems with previous snooker titles for the released for the 8-bit era was that the machines were really limited and they could not make anything close to real. It was really quite challenging to, for example, when you hit the ball on a certain angle, have calculations being done on the machine's CPU on where that ball would bounce and would go. This was something very, challenging at the time. This game took years to be developed, and through some clever programming that they did that would store every single position of every single ball in RAM, in volatile memory that was inside the computer, they were able to actually make this game so smooth and fluent that it was on the Amiga. I mean, which was a fairly limited CPU that machine had. Regarding the game itself, okay, it's snooker, okay? There's not much to go around it. It's just snooker. Some people might find it boring. I find that it's an excellent sport to sit on your couch, with a cup of tea and enjoy on Eurosport, because it's really relaxing. I love it. And the sheer skill of those players is amazing. I mean, it's great. But again, on the game, it's snooker. Red balls, you attempt to pocket a color ball after pocketing a red one. You rinse and repeat. You do the same thing until you only have color balls, and you only do the color balls. However, with 3D graphics now, this means that, not only you could control the angle of the cue and the effects on the ball, but you can also control the camera in any angle that you desire. And this was one of the, the real 3D games that came up. It was the first real 3D snooker game that we've seen on the market. It was something so unprecedented that, Jimmy White, that was the snooker legend at that time that gave his name to this title, he was quite apprehensive and afraid that, putting his name on a title that would, in the end would suck. However, he actually did play the game, and he enjoyed it so much that he actually supported it. And, it's one of the best classics that then had, several other iterations in the future, and came up with, very different versions. Some of them even played today that are very realistic and 3D-like and stuff like that. So again, unfortunately, just like the previous game that we talked about, it's not available in digital platforms, unfortunately. But I guess you always know about this. Google is your friend. He can answer all your questions, so you just ask him, and I'm sure he will give you a place to check out this game.
Yeah, he will be.
What about you guys? What about you guys? Did you enjoy it? Did you play it? Let us know. Would love to see your comments about this one. Excellent game for me. I hope you guys found that one too. Blade, back to you.
Back to me. And I remember playing that one, and I didn't play that much because I didn't have an Amiga. And I'm going to apologize in advance because I don't know if you're going to hear any background noise, because I have the neighbor's dogs just barking away, so...
Bark at them back. That's how you solve it. If they bark... Exactly. Start barking at them back. That's what I do.
Yeah. No, but anyways, games. So I had a game I used to play on the Sega Saturn. It was one of my favorite consoles. Again, it's not a game that there is a lot to talk about, but it was very, very addictive. And I mean extremely addictive. It came out in 96. I think it came out a year prior on the arcades, but I'm not too sure. I'll have to double check that. The game was called Baku Baku Animal on the arcade, and just Baku Baku on the Sega Saturn. The game
was a colorful one. I remember seeing that both on arcades and on Saturns. I remember that game. It was quite
It was
nice.
a fun game. Yeah, it was a versus game. You just played against another player, and the first time you looked at it, it looked a lot like columns, but it had nothing to do with it. You had those blocks just falling down with different kinds of food and animals, and you would just have to pair the foods, and you could stack them to wherever you wanted. You wouldn't have to get 3 in a line. They wouldn't pop. You had to stack food and then get the right animal next to it and just eat it away.
Yeah, you could grab the monkey to eat the bananas all in one like columns like this and stuff like that. I remember that game,
No, and have the monkey on the bananas, the dog on the bones. You had the panda that would eat the... I don't know what the hell that was. I don't remember the name of that green thing they ate. Anyways, so you could get the carrots for the bunnies, and there were other animals, but I don't recall them right now. So, but
there was a lion. I remember there was a lion always popping up. His face was always popping up in one of the squares. I remember that.
Exactly. No, and it was a lot of fun because the more you stacked up and you had them eat, it would just dump trash on your on the opposite side on your enemy, and they would just start to get desperate. And your mission was basically to fill in their screen and have them lose the game. Yeah, and this was extremely fun with friends because you would just annoy them to eternity there. It was awesome.
That was kind of like, I think that I'm not sure if that existed on the original Tetris, but I remember that when you played the versus match, whenever you started to do a lot of Tetris, which was the 5 lines in one go, it would dump something on your opponent. I think if we see the professional tournaments, because if you guys don't know, there are still professional tournaments to this day of Tetris, and I think we see that happening. I'm not really sure. I haven't seen one in a while, but they do exist and they happen. About this one, I played it. I remember playing it on the arcades. Not so much on the arcades though. More when I think it was one of my cousins again that actually bought a Sega Saturn, and I dropped by and we played one of those. So yeah, that's a very nice one. It's a more, I would say, more into the puzzle bubble type, except that you don't have to join, things in groups.
Somewhat like, more like Puzzle Fighter that came later.
Could be, yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. And Bamboo for the pandas just popped in my mind.
Okay.
Bamboo
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, but it was a fun game. I'm curious if a lot of people play this one or not, but just drop a comment below and let me know if you actually played this one.
I think people did, because this one was one of those. I mean, everybody knows Baku Baku. If they don't, I don't know. Maybe they've been living in a cave for the last 30 years. I don't know, but people know it for sure. I forgot to say something about my game, about the Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker. Is that there's also multiplayer? There's also local multiplayer on this game, and you can actually play with 2 players. You're going to be playing in turns, because that's exactly how it is in snooker. But just to make that appointment on that game, because I completely forgot about mentioning it earlier anyways. But so guys, tell us what you thought about these games. I mean, we have some mix of very well known with some unknown one games here. So if you guys did play any of them, just leave us a comment. Again, as you always know, the couch is always open for you guys to participate with us. As we said, a text, an audio file, a video, whatever you want. Send us a text, we'll read it for you. Send us an audio, we'll play the audio, and we'll put some some gameplay behind it. So there's no other way to do it. We're still waiting for your participations. In our Portuguese episodes, we tend to have some regular ones, but here we haven't had any yet. So who's going to be the first
guys?
one?
Come on.
Who's going to be the first one to to do the inaugurational ride? I think that's it. That's how you say it. Into the couch with a red carpet, and show us what you have played before as a kid, as a teenager, and share that experience with us.
Yeah, or since you talked about Hook on this one, well, you could be the first one walking the plank, so we'll take the sharks out. It'll be safer.
So good. You make me cough. Again, thanks for the suggestions, Blade. I hope that people really take on to it. Guys, as you already know, and as it's normal, leave a like if you like, leave a dislike if you didn't like. Don't forget to subscribe our channel and visit our social media contacts. We're going to put all of that down here for you guys to see. And if we don't have anything else to say today, I think we're going to wrap up, right, Blade?
Yeah, we can wrap it up for today, and just wish you guys to have a great week, play a lot of games, and we'll see you next week on the next Couchisode, and game on, everyone.
Same week, next time. Or next time, same week. That's what I wanted to say.
You're not drinking anymore today.
I wanted to say this thing that Lars Ulrich from Metallica always says when he finishes a concert. Same time next year. He always says this. So guys, same time next week. We'll see each other again. Thank you. Game on and bye.
Game on, everyone. See you next week.